Hey everyone, and welcome back to my second tutorial video. Today we're in XDefiant, which is a brand new game from Ubisoft. It is currently in the closed beta, but if you are one of the lucky ones to get access to it now, I'm going to show you the best settings for PC players. So first thing you want to do is head over to settings, and you're prompted with gameplay and UI. So what I like to do is turn the field of view anywhere from 100 to 120. Personally 120 is where I'm at right now. For ADS field of view, I like to keep it on consistent, which will use your field of view setting. When you turn it back to independent, this will revert to the default field of view, which I believe is 100. And the other one is aiming interrupts reload. This one I always keep on. I also like to use melee during ADS in case anyone comes up close to you, you can still melee while ADSing. Other than that, the rest of them can stay on default. As far as I'm aware, there's not too much of an advantage you gain from them. It's obviously personal preference, but that's just what I find. And then next we can head into mouse and keyboard, which is the second tab here. Personally, I've been using the default sensitivity and the 1x multiplier at about 800 DPI. I find this very, very comfortable. And then always make sure that you have mouse acceleration turned off. Other than that, the keybinds are all personal preference, of course. I'm not going to go through these as they are currently set to default after the latest update. If you are a controller player, unfortunately, I don't have any settings for you. Because I don't play on controller on PC, but I'm sure you can find some other videos with great players who do. And then next you can head into audio and voice chat. I like to keep everything here relatively the same. Music is currently at 0 for the sake of the video, but you can turn this maybe around 50, anywhere a little bit lower than the rest, so it's not distracting you. And other than that, there's not much else to go through here. Now onto the video and graphics tab. There's a lot of stuff to go through here, and it does vary depending on your PC, but generally you want to have these settings. So I always enable reduced latency, and I always make sure that reflex low latency is also enabled plus boost. This ensures that your PC has the lowest amount of latency, but it will cause your GPU to have a little bit more power consumption, so keep that in mind. So the graphics quality will highly depend on the GPU that you have. I'm currently running a 3080, so I can comfortably run ultra and maybe high, but if you do want those higher frames, I would recommend low or medium. Now I always turn in-game VSync off because I do use G-Sync with my monitor, and I always have frame rate limit off as well because I use the NVIDIA frame rate limiter. So for the rest, these will all depend on the quality preset that you chose earlier, but honestly, all that you would want to change realistically is that I like to scroll down to chromatic aberration. I turn this off, and then you can also turn off the lens flare, stuff like that, just any extra settings that aren't really needed for a first-person shooter. And then with that, we will head into the NVIDIA control panel. So in order to get to the NVIDIA control panel, on your desktop, you can right-click and then head over to NVIDIA control panel here. Once this opens up, you're gonna head to Manage 3D Settings, and this is where most of the settings are changed. So I'm just gonna quickly scroll through my settings if you wanna copy most of them, but realistically, the main ones that you wanna change are low latency mode here. I currently have this set to ultra, which goes hand in hand with the reflex low latency. I have a max frame rate set to about 3 frames below my monitor refresh rate, which is 165. This just limits my frames a little bit below. It does help with screen tearing, and I noticed if I have it anywhere above 162 or 163, I do get tons of screen tearing. So next, you want to make sure monitor technology, if compatible, you want to have G-Sync compatible selected. I'll show you how to get that afterwards. And then other than that, you want to have power management mode on maximum performance, just to give you the best performance possible. And then a little bit below, you have vertical sync right here. I always ensure that this is turned off so that the video games that I play also have it selected by default. And then lastly, for those of you with the G-Sync display, head over to the panel here that says set up G-Sync. And this option here will let you know if your monitor does have it selected. So I'm selecting my Dell monitor here, which is the main one, and I have the option to enable G-Sync. You just want to select that. And then if you haven't already, come back to Manage 3D Settings and ensure that G-Sync is selected. So that's really it for the NVIDIA control panel. There's not much to go through here, and this does relatively stay the same for each game I play. Some people like to have specific program settings per game, but I personally don't mess with that as I keep everything the same. And lastly, for anyone curious, here are my settings for my Logitech Pro X Superlight mouse. I personally have it set to just the default keybinds and stuff like that, or I guess mouse binds, and I'm not sure exactly what those would be. But other than that, I do have my sensitivity set to 800 DPI. It is just static per every single game I play. It never changes. It also is the same on my desktop. And my polling rate is 1000. That always stays the same as well. All right, and that's really everything for this video. If you did enjoy this quick and brief walkthrough, let me know in the comments below and give me a subscribe or a like if you enjoyed. I'm going to try and have more of these created soon for a variety of games and software and stuff like that.